Hey guys, it's Nishquick. Today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind as of late. Well, it's been on my mind for the past 6 years, but the last couple of weeks it's been on my mind a lot more, and what that is it's the future of the Legend of Zelda series. And I'm gonna be honest, I have some very conflicting feelings about this and I'm a little worried. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush any longer, let's talk about it. So, I have been a fan of the Legend of Zelda series ever since early 2011, maybe late 2010. Let's just give a flat 13 to 14 years on that. I've been a Zelda fan for that long. I started with Ocarina of Time and Zelda 1 on the Wii Virtual Console, not even on N64, and never played it on the NES. I did play Wind Waker, the original GameCube Wind Waker, but I just borrowed it from a friend for about a week, and I eventually got the original GameCube disc and completed the game many years later. But those were my humble beginnings with the Legend of Zelda series. And then Skyward Sword came out, played it, loved it. My point is, ever since then, up until Breath of the Wild's release, my idea of the Zelda series was dungeons, linearity, story, lore, and that was the formula. And each game was different in its own way because of the new spin that the Zelda team would put on it. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask had time travel in two different ways. Wind Waker had the ocean. Twilight Princess was dark and gritty and focused on combat. Skyward Sword was motion control heavy, utilizing Wii Motion Plus, but also heavily story oriented. It had the sky, it had the surface, all that. My point is, Breath of the Wild shook up this formula so much, and we are now having conversations about traditional Zelda games versus classic Zelda games. How do I feel about this? I feel a little conflicted because I love Breath of the Wild and I am absolutely adoring Tears of the Kingdom right now. These games are fantastic. They do open world games better than any other open world game that I have ever played in my life. I made a lot of videos talking about this, but what about all the other games I just talked about? What about Ocarina of Time? What about Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and all the other 2D games? They utilize a formula established all the way back in A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past started this Zelda formula of going into dungeons, exploring a world, fighting bosses, all of that. And as many of you have noticed, Tears of the Kingdom has really brought some of that back in, with traditionally themed dungeons, with traditionally themed boss fights at the end. But the non-linearity, the exploration, the open world, it's still there. That Breath of the Wild idea is still there. Many are wondering, is this even Zelda anymore? These games don't feel like Zelda because they don't feel like the older games. I somewhat disagree because to me, The Legend of Zelda is all about adventure, exploration, and discovery and secrets. And Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have those in spades. But there are other things I'm a little concerned and a little conflicted about. One is this whole dungeon idea. I miss dungeons. I miss traditional dungeons. I will still miss them even after Tears of the Kingdom. I played 2 dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom so far. I played the Wind Temple and the Water Temple. Both were great dungeons. I really liked them, especially the Water Temple. It really reminded me of like older traditional puzzle box Zelda dungeons, but I'm going to really miss dungeons like Stone Tower. I'm going to really miss the mind-blowing, amazing puzzle solving in dungeons like the Sand Ship and the Ancient Cistern, and it's very strange to see many newcomers to the series get into these games and say, oh, this is a traditional Zelda dungeon experience, and I say, oh, it's great, I'm glad you're enjoying it, but it wasn't really like this. There were no terminals, there was no open-endedness, there was a formula with these dungeons, and I still feel like there is a way that dungeons like this can be implemented into the open world Zelda formula, but that's one thing I feel conflicted about. I might make an own separate video on dungeons, how I feel about dungeons, but another thing is the relevance of these past 3D Zelda games and the 2D Zelda games as well. Let's look at some of the highest selling Legend of Zelda games. Ocarina of Time, 7 million. Pretty good, pretty good. And then Twilight Princess came out, and both the GameCube and the Wii versions combined, I'm not sure if this includes the HD version, but 10 million, just about 10 million. And at that time, this was the highest selling Legend of Zelda game. But look at the current most up-to-date sales for Breath of the Wild. It is 3 times as much as Twilight Princess. So what does that really tell us? Well, it's a very interesting concept that the Zelda team is most likely never going to go back to the style of Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, so that means no linearity, less emphasis on story, most likely, less emphasis on traditional puzzle box dungeons, most likely, and it's fine. I love this new formula, but as a veteran, as a fan for more than 10 years, I really don't know how to feel. It's kind of bittersweet seeing this formula go and change and evolve so quickly out of nowhere. And I do want to say this to a lot of people, and I find this a little sad that I've been seeing this online and amongst a lot of communities I've been in, and a lot of people, rightfully so, are considering this to be the future of the series. Open air concept, non-linearity, all that. But so many people are forgetting where it all started, what got us to this point. People are looking at Ocarina of Time and saying, this game is outdated, this game is old, this game is old news, it's such a outdated, archaic concept. When I see it as a true gem of a video game concept, an idea, and one of the most revolutionary video games of all time. Still to this day, my favorite video game of all time because of how much of an impact it's had on me and how much I realize that its impact is continuing to be recognized in so many modern games today. And then people are saying, oh, traditional dungeons, we want traditional dungeons back. We want this back. We want this idea of traditional, larger puzzle box themed dungeons. But how many people have really noticed and recognized and appreciated the high quality, super ingenious, unique, and creative dungeons of Skyward Sword? I see people talk about Skyward Sword, and when the HD version released, there was so much negativity surrounding Skyward Sword. I mean, of course, a lot of people were excited, but many people were upset. This is not the Zelda game we wanted. This is not the Zelda game we wanted released. And yet a lot of people leading up to Tears of the Kingdom were saying traditional dungeons, we want this back, we want all this back, and Skyward Sword has it. I am also the biggest Skyward Sword fan ever, so I have a little bit of a bias, but my point is, a lot of people who are new to the Zelda series, I really hope they don't forget and don't ignore what came before, because those games are truly monumental, truly amazing, truly groundbreaking games that led to what we have right now to make these enriching, beautiful open world experiences. So to those people who are new to the Zelda series, I urge you, get Skyward Sword HD on the Switch, play Link's Awakening on the Switch, and if you have the expansion pass, definitely play Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, 2 of one of the greatest games ever made. I want to talk about one more concern I have regarding this new departure for the series, the new future, and all of that. Mr. Eiji Aonuma did say in an interview with Game Informer magazine that the Ocarina of Time style formula of this linearity and traditional dungeons and traditional Zelda approach is a little limiting for them. I can totally see why, especially with all the things you can do in Tears of the Kingdom with Ultra Hand and what you could do with Breath of the Wild and the Sheikah Slate and the whole physics engine they've created. But I do want to bring out this concern of mine, is that we see a lot of open world games today. We see games like Ubisoft games. We see Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and it's just a rinse and repeat formula. I see it. I really hope the Zelda series doesn't succumb to something like that. And I don't have too much experience with Bethesda games and the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series, but a lot of people know what they're getting into with these Bethesda games from what I've seen. A lot of people saw Starfield and said, this is just Skyrim in space. So I don't want that to happen to the Zelda series. I don't want it to be Breath of the Wild with a new fresh coat of paint. The Zelda team is better than that. They know what they're doing. They're very creative and really implement new and unique and ingenious mechanics into their game. So I don't think that's too much to worry about, but at the same time, it is a slight concern of mine. I don't want this series to fall victim to a lot of what plagues the open world video game genre to this day. I don't think it will, but if this is the future of the Zelda series, if non-linearity, the open air concept is the future, I really hope that there is some unique qualities to the following games that really set them apart from Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, and every other open air Zelda game following that and preceding that as well. But that's just what I think. Let me know in the comments below what you feel about this. How long have you guys been playing Zelda games? Are you newcomers? Are you veterans? If you're newcomers, are you going to play some of the older games, and are you excited to? Because I still think you should. I think there are some of the best games ever made. And if you're a veteran, how do you feel about this departure? How do you feel about this evolution of the Zelda series, this new inflection point? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day. Go play some great games today. Or just continue playing Tears of the Kingdom. You're probably at like 100 hours in already. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one later. Hey guys, this is Nishquick. Thank you so much for watching that video. And if you enjoyed it, check out these two videos on the left, and if you aren't subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button on the way out? I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day and see you later.